Hi everyone, back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the match preview for Newcastle United's upcoming game this Sunday down at Bournemouth. It does not get any easier for Newcastle United. They just got beat 2-1 in the Champions League against Barcelona at St James's Park. And now we're travelling down for the Eddie Howe derby, which we have not had a great record at really over the years down at Bournemouth. And they are flying this season so far under Areola. They're playing really, really well despite losing so many key players in the summer. They have really surprised everybody. So we're going to get stuck right into this, talk about how I think the team is going to line up, how I'd hope they line up, and how Eddie Howe is probably going to line them up as two different things. But we'll get stuck right into this. So how big is this game? It is big. We want to have back-to-back wins in the Premier League. We want to climb that table, but we also need to show, and Eddie Howe needs to show, that the gamble that he took midweek by resting Nick Voldemar and putting Anthony Gordon through the middle is going to pay off on Sunday, because that's what he said. He said Nick Voldemar will start on Sunday, and if Nick Voldemar starts on Sunday, scores a goal or two, wins us the game, then you'll say, okay, Eddie, your gamble paid off, right? But if we don't win this game, then people might say, well, your gamble didn't pay off, Eddie. So you put the Barcelona game at risk, and also didn't work for the Bournemouth game. But I don't want to start off on too much of a negative with this, but this is the problem when you make decisions like that. They might come back and bite you on the backside, and that's what Eddie Howe is doing here. He's gambling with his reputation with regards to that decision. But we're going to get stuck right into this straight away. Look at the lineup. This is how I think that we are going to line up. This is how I think Eddie Howe will probably line up as well. Now, looking at the team news, obviously, we know the big ones that are out. Jacob Ramsey's out. Wissa is out until after the next international break, which is a huge blow. And Fabian Schär clattered his head, which is not unlike Fabian Schär, against Barcelona. Was concussed, so he's going to miss a few games. I think he's confirmed that now in terms of social media, saying he's going to miss a few games. So this is how I think we're going to line up with regards to that one. I think that Eddie Howe will make some changes. I hope he makes some changes. I really, really do. I'm going to go for Nick Pope in goal as a standard. I think Nick Pope will have that jersey until he loses it. I think Tino Livramento is going to move over to right back because Kieran Trippier looked like he picked up a knock as well against Barcelona, but he has looked a bit leggy and a little bit tired and a bit old for my liking. So I want this change anyway, regardless if Kieran Trippier is fit or not. But I think Tino will be shift back over to right back. Lewis Hall will come in at left back, and not before time either. Lewis Hall has looked really good in his cameos. We know he's been injured. We know Eddie's trying to get him back to full fitness. But we need Lewis Hall, certainly in this game, given the threat of Semenyo from Bournemouth, which I'll talk about in a minute. Now, with Schär's absence, there's two ways Eddie Howe could play this. You could bring Botman in, and he could say, Botman and Byrne, we've had that before. Even though they're two left peggers, he still played that before. Or he could bring in a very impressive Malik Chow, excuse me, who was actually, when he came off the bench against Barcelona, I thought he looked composed. Cruyff turns left, right, and centre, skinning Barcelona players run up and down the pitch. So he's a very, very accomplished player, good in the ball and a good defender, big, strong lad as well. I think Malik Chow will come in for the injured Fabian Schär, and it'll be Malik Chow and Dan Burn to complete the set in the back four. Now, I like this because we've got the pace of Livramento on the right-hand side to cause Bournemouth problems going forward as well. We've got Lewis Hall there, who's very, very accomplished at left back, very good defensively and excellent going forward. You want him to push Semenyo further back and try and have him tracking back rather than him bombing forward and causing us loads of chaos, because he's been brilliant at the start of the season. He really, really has. Looking at the rest of the lineup, I think he'll go for Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali and Joe Linton in midfield. I possibly would be bringing in Lewis Miley in this game for me personally, and I've said that on my aftermath videos as well, because Joe Linton's not very good on the ball, and I think Lewis Miley deserves a chance to play in the midfield with Guimaraes and Tonali and be good on the ball and make things happen. But I think he'll just go with the three in midfield like he always does. And up front, now I'm going to change it. Eddie Howe might very well stick with Harvey Barnes, but Harvey Barnes has not showed enough for me. He really, really hasn't. He's had chances in big games. He's not taking them. He just doesn't look like he's at it, this Harvey Barnes. So I would personally move Alanga over to the left-hand side. I'd play Jacob Murphy on the right. Again, who had a great cameo, came off the bench, got an assist for the goal in midweek against Barcelona. And I'd play big Nick Voldemar up front. Now, Anthony Gordon can't play in this game, so it kind of makes the decision up for Eddie Howe anyway. But that's how I would line up. I'd have Murphy on the right, Alanga on the left, whose pace was devastating against Barcelona, and big Nick through the middle. Now, looking at the opposition in the key areas of battle, really, so that the big star man, there is no doubt about it, is Antoine Semenyo, which fair play to Bournemouth for keeping this guy in the summer, because he is quality. He's already got 3 goals and 2 assists in 4 games. And Bournemouth themselves, they've only lost 1 game, and that was against Liverpool in the first game of the season, who just somehow managed to win games even when they're dog shit. But Semenyo has been fantastic since the season started. Evan Nielsen's looking good as well at the back as well. They've got Sinisi and is it Misalovic? They look steady and strong at the back. They lost House and the other lad who went to Paris Saint-Germain, name escapes me now, is Zubimendi. That's it, Zubimendi. They lost those 2 players. They lost their goalkeeper. They lost Kepa. And Petrovic has come in, and they've done really well as a team. And that's testament to how good Iraola is as a manager. I mean, that guy is really, really good. And I'm really surprised another team hasn't come along sniffing for him. And I think Bournemouth will be hoping that they don't, because he is brilliant for Bournemouth. And his team plays such good football. They're energetic. They're strong. They're great on the break and the counter and the transition play with Semenyo's pace and Evan Nielsen's ability to find gaps in back fours. Tavernier is decent on the ball in midfield as well. They have a nice double pivot sitting midfield that they had against Brighton, that they got a great result against in the last game with Tyler Adams and Scott as well. These are a good side. These are no fucking mugs. And Newcastle are going to have to really turn up to get a result in this game. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen in terms of a result in a minute. But this is a big game for Newcastle. We got the win against Wolves. It weren't really great. There were spells in that game where Wolves could have got a goal. I mean, the first 10 seconds of the game, he scored a goal. And there was times where Wolves did have the ball and did cause Newcastle issues with it. Just didn't have a cutting edge up front. If Strand Larson had been playing, I might have been a little bit worried about what that result could have been in the last game. But we got the win. Big Nick got his debut goal, which is why it was disappointing that Eddie didn't have the momentum to take that into Thursday, play Big Nick for the first half, then take him off. We could have been a goal or 2 up. And imagine going at this game with 2 back-to-back wins and one against Barcelona at St. James's Park. We'd be coming here on cloud fucking 9, but we're not doing that now. We're now coming in here a little bit cagey, a little bit, I wouldn't say nervous, but a little bit apprehensive maybe as supporters, thinking, can we get the result in this game? Some people will just be massively positive and buzzing and say, oh yeah, we'll smash Bournemouth, but I'm not too sure. I think Bournemouth are a really well-organised, well-drilled side with quality in their team. Semenyo is a real danger man. The only good thing about Semenyo playing, and if Lewis Hall comes back to the team, which it looks like he will do, is I think Lewis Hall can handle him quite well. He's still an excellent player, can cut inside, pull a trigger, set up goals as well. But if he goes over to the other side, Tino's got the pace to deal with him. I think Lewis Hall's got the overall positional sense to deal with him as well. Joe Linton maybe can help him out on that left-hand side, which is probably a reason to keep Joe Linton in that team, to double up on Semenyo and try and nullify his threat on the game. But Newcastle are really going to have to be bang at this to get anything out of this game whatsoever. I mean, I'm looking at the sports mode prediction they've got us losing this game, to be honest with you. I think you could say that. You really, really could. Looking at some of their team news as well, going into the game, I think, they look like they're pretty much full strength. They're not really missing anybody in particular, really. Just Adam Smith, long-term knee injuries. Ryan Christie, I think, is a doubt as well for the game, who's a right little shithouse. I think the reverse fixture last season, he was just going on kicking everybody, wasn't he, to be fair? But they look fairly full strength. And I suppose from our point of view, we have got a little bit of depth and a little bit of options to change things as well. But we've got players just not playing anywhere near where they should be, really, in terms of their performances. And it is a little bit concerning. It is a little bit worrying, because you're looking at these performances and you're thinking, when's it really going to go click into gear? I think we have played some good football this season, and we've been unlucky, not to get the results. I mean, obviously we know that we had the whole debacle with Alexander Isak, and no centre forwards in the first few games. That could have easily been 2 or 3 wins, and we could be sitting in an unbelievable position, in the Premier League. Bournemouth is sitting in a great position. We could be right up there, but as it transpires, we didn't get the win against Villa. We didn't get the win against Leeds, despite being the best team. We didn't hang on for that point against Liverpool. We got that win against Wolves. We tasted defeat again against Barcelona. So it's been very, very up and down, really. It really, really has. I'm just looking at the matches here, the head-to-head matches overall for Newcastle and Bournemouth. So in terms of the overall games, we've got 15 matches there. Bournemouth have won 4, we won 5, and 6 draws. The Vitality Stadium has been 7 games. So it's saying Bournemouth have won 1, we've won 2, and there's been 4 draws in that one as well. So So it's a bit of an up and down kind of record, really, in terms of the head-to-head, really. And I'm just, I'm not entirely sure. They battered us 4-1, didn't they? Back in January last year, absolutely rinsed us down at the Vitality Stadium. So St James's Park, beg your pardon, the rinses at St James's Park, they were all over us. I remember that game. And I just thought we couldn't deal with Semenyo. So it is a big concern if we deal with him on this particular occasion. But I think Newcastle have to bounce back from midweek. They have to show something more. I think having a bit of freshness in the back four is going to help. I think having Lewis Hall back in there, hopefully, is going to help. Having Malik Chow's pace in there is going to help deal with Evan Nielsen and Semenyo's attacking threat as well. The midfield needs a much better performance than we saw at St James's Park against Barcelona. Outside of Sandro Tonali, who had moments, I felt Bruno Guimaraes looked tired, leggy. I thought Joe Linton's ball retention was awful. His passing was wayward. And we can't do that against Bournemouth because they're a high energy team. They're in a good vein of form. They're at home. The crowd will be up. They'll fancy their chances in this game. They really, really will. What do I think the result's going to be? I think Newcastle are going to get a draw in this game. I'm going to go for a score draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. And I don't actually think that's a bad result. I think Bournemouth will take a lot of points off a lot of teams this season. So get the draw, get another decent point on the board for Newcastle United, and then we'll get back to the next fixture, which will be Bradford in the Cup, and hopefully we can get a win there and get through to the next round. Then a big one against Arsenal at St James's Park the week after, which I will be at the game as well. So I won't be on post-match duties for that. Mark will be with you, but I will be looking forward to that game, absolutely. And if you see me, say hello. But yeah, going back to this game, this is the first one you get take care of. Bournemouth, get this done, get a good result. Can we win it? Yes, we can if we show up and play the way we know we can play, with speed, with confidence, press, win the ball back. Nick Faltermeyer there as an option to link up the play, like we saw him get involved with the goal in midweek as well. We can win this game if we turn up and play, but I just think Bournemouth are in really good form. Their star players are right up there at the top of their game. Ours are a little bit in and out, a little bit up and down. They're not quite there yet in terms of a consistency of performance. So I think a draw is what we're going to get in this fixture. That's a good result for us. Let me know in the comments below what you think about my lineup, about my score prediction. How do you think the game's going to go? Do you think we're going to win it? Am I being too negative? Or do you think we could lose this game as well? Always like to hear from you. Keep it nice and clean in the comments. Let's debate, not hate. That's what we like to do in the comments. You leave a nice comment. We'll take the time to reply as well. But like and subscribe. Keep it evermore. I will be back for the live post-match reaction to the Bournemouth game on Sunday afternoon, hopefully, when Newcastle have got a good result, and a better one than I'm predicting as well. But thanks for watching. Have a belter. We'll see you later.
Eddie Howe's heroes celebrate. They have done it.